Every time I get paid, I don't celebrate with a shopping spree, a fancy dinner, or an impulse buy. I sit down with my notebook, open my spreadsheet, and start a ritual that has quietly transformed my financial life. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, and honestly, it takes less than 30 minutes, but it's the reason I never feel stressed when unexpected expenses appear. Why I've built savings without feeling deprived, and how I've learned to make money work for me instead of the other way around. Before I get into my exact payday routine, I want to tell you why this process matters, because for years, I used to do the same thing most people do. The paycheck would hit my account, and within a few days, I'd wonder where all the money went. Bills, subscriptions, small luxuries, it all just disappeared. It wasn't until I became an accountant and started helping others organize their finances that I realized something simple yet powerful: how you handle your money on payday determines everything about your financial future. So if you've ever felt like your paycheck just slips through your fingers, or that no matter how much you earn you never seem to get ahead, this video is for you. Because what I'm about to share isn't just theory, it's the same routine I've used for years, one that helped me pay off debt, build savings, and create stability that I didn't know was possible. And before we dive in, take a second to subscribe or follow, because if you want to get smarter with money without losing your mind or your joy, this channel will help you do exactly that. Now, let's talk about what I actually do every single time I get paid. The first thing I do on payday is nothing. I don't touch the money. I don't spend. I don't transfer, I simply pause. This is something I learned after watching countless people spend impulsively the moment their salary hit. That pause creates distance between earning and spending. It allows me to make decisions based on intention, not emotion. I give it a few hours, sometimes even a day. During that time, I reflect on what's coming up, bills due, goals for the month, things I value spending on. I let the excitement fade and clarity take over. When I finally sit down to manage my money, it's from a calm, clear headspace. I open my spreadsheet, nothing fancy, just a simple tracker with 3 tabs: income, expenses, and goals. At the top, I always write the date of the paycheck and the total amount received after tax. This is where everything begins. The second step is assigning every dollar a job. This idea came from zero-based budgeting, but I've simplified it into something more intuitive. I divide my income into 5 categories: essentials, future, goals, freedom, and fun. Essentials are the non-negotiables: rent, groceries, utilities, transportation, insurance. I usually aim for around 50 to 55% of my income here. Then comes the future, that's where savings and investments live. I automatically transfer 20% of my paycheck into a high-yield savings account and my investment account. Automating this step is key. If I wait to save whatever's left, there's never anything left. But when it's automated, I don't have to think about it, it just happens. Next is goals. This category is for short-term priorities like a vacation, a new laptop, or paying down a specific loan faster. I allocate around 10 to 15% here depending on what I'm working toward. Then comes freedom money. This is my favorite. It's the buffer between guilt and joy. Freedom money is for anything that enhances my life in the present: a nice dinner, a spontaneous day trip, books, or coffee with friends. It's what keeps my budget human. Finally, there's fun, the smallest category, usually 5% or less, but it's crucial. It's the celebration fund, reminding me that money isn't just for survival or future security, it's also for living. Once I've divided everything, I move to the most underrated part of my payday routine: reflection. I look back at my last pay period and review how things went. Did I overspend in one category? Did I stick to my goals? Did something unexpected happen? This moment of reflection turns numbers into insight. It helps me notice patterns. Maybe I've been ordering out too often. Maybe I underestimated transportation costs. Or maybe I've been under budgeting for the things that actually matter. Without this reflection, budgeting becomes mechanical. With it, it becomes meaningful. I also like to take a minute to check in emotionally. Money isn't just math, it's psychology. Some paydays, I feel excited. Others, I feel anxious or guilty. Instead of ignoring those feelings, I ask myself why. Maybe I feel guilty for spending on something non-essential. Maybe I'm anxious because I have a big expense coming up. This check-in helps me reconnect money to purpose. I remind myself that money is a tool, not a test of worth. After reflection, I take care of automation. This is the part most people skip, but it's what keeps my system consistent. I set up automatic transfers to savings and investment accounts scheduled for the same day every month. Just a few hours after my paycheck lands, I also schedule bill payments wherever possible. The goal is to remove friction, to make doing the right thing the easiest thing. That way, I don't rely on willpower. I rely on systems. Once those automations are set, I check my financial dashboard, just a snapshot of my net worth, savings rate, and debt balance. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. I love seeing those small improvements. Watching your savings grow or your debt shrink, even slowly, is deeply motivating. The next part of my payday routine is what I call reset and realign. I look at my goals for the month and ask myself, are these still relevant? For example, a few months ago, I was saving aggressively for travel, but plans changed, so I redirected that money toward my emergency fund. Realignment keeps my finances flexible, it reminds me that life changes, and my money should adapt with it. I also take a moment to check my emergency fund. Having that cushion gives me peace of mind. It's not just about having money set aside, it's about freedom from panic. Knowing that an unexpected medical bill or car repair won't destroy my progress makes me feel grounded. Another thing I do every payday is value review. I look at my spending categories and ask, does this reflect what I truly value? It's a humbling exercise. There were times when I realized I was spending hundreds a month on things that didn't make me happy, subscriptions I forgot about, delivery fees that added up, impulse Amazon purchases. Now, I constantly ask, does this align with the life I'm trying to build? This habit changed everything. It's not about cutting expenses for the sake of it, it's about cutting waste so I can spend more intentionally. And speaking of intentionality, one of my favorite parts of this routine happens after I've done all the numbers. I take a few minutes to visualize. I imagine where I want to be financially a year from now. Not just numbers on a screen, but how it will feel to be debt-free, to have freedom, to make choices without fear. Visualization might sound cliché, but it's powerful. It gives your actions meaning. Every small transfer, every moment of restraint, starts to feel like a step towards something real. Sometimes, I write a quick journal entry about money. Just a few lines, what I'm grateful for, what I'm proud of, what I'm working on. This turns money management into a mindfulness practice. It reminds me that I'm not just budgeting, I'm building a relationship with money that's based on respect, not avoidance. Now, let's talk about the real-world benefits of doing this every payday. Over time, I started noticing that money stress disappeared. I no longer had that mid-month panic of where did my paycheck go, because I already knew. I stopped feeling guilty for spending because everything was already planned. I built an emergency fund that actually worked. I invested regularly without thinking about it. And most importantly, I began to feel confident, not because I had more money, but because I finally had control. There's also something deeply satisfying about watching patterns compound. A single payday routine doesn't seem like much. But after 6 months, you see growth. After a year, you see transformation. You start to realize that wealth isn't built in big moments, it's built in habits like this. Consistency beats intensity every time. That's the truth about money most people overlook. It's not about being perfect, it's about showing up every payday and doing the work, even when it feels boring or small. I also started applying this system with my clients. People who used to feel completely lost with money began to feel empowered. They didn't just get better with budgets, they started making decisions differently. Because once you know where your money goes, you start to know where your time and energy should go too. Over the years, my payday routine has evolved, but the core remains the same: pause, plan, automate, reflect, and realign. Sometimes, I'll add a gratitude transfer, where I send a small amount to charity or a cause I care about. It reminds me that abundance grows when shared. Other times, I'll reward myself with something small: a coffee, a walk, a quiet evening, because financial discipline doesn't have to mean deprivation. The funny thing is, what started as an accountant's practicality turned into something spiritual for me. Payday isn't just about money now, it's a moment of awareness. A checkpoint in my life where I ask, am I using what I have in alignment with who I want to be? Every paycheck is an opportunity to vote for the kind of life I want to live. So, if you take one thing from my story, let it be this: don't let your money manage you. Create a ritual. It doesn't have to look like mine. Maybe your categories are different. Maybe your tools are simpler. But have a system. Because without a plan, money flows toward impulse. With a plan, it flows toward freedom. And here's something I wish someone had told me earlier: wealth isn't built by how much you earn, it's built by how you behave when you earn it. Every payday is a chance to reset that behavior. So next time you get paid, don't just celebrate, sit down, take a breath, and decide where your money will go. Treat it like a meeting with your future self. The truth is, managing money doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be peaceful. It can even be joyful. You just need a structure that supports the life you want, not the life others expect of you. My routine is simple, but it's consistent. And over time, consistency compounds into confidence, and confidence compounds into freedom. So the next time your paycheck arrives, remember this story. Remember to pause. Remember to plan. Remember to act with intention. Because every financial decision you make is building your future quietly, day by day, paycheck by paycheck. And trust me, that's the most powerful investment you'll ever make.